we wonder why in New York we pay more for rent, more for our insurance, homeowners, car. One of the biggest things happening right now is fraud. Rampant fraud that is happening throughout New York State. So when it comes to your homeowner's insurance in New York City primarily, we are seeing people stage accidents on construction sites or outside construction sites on sidewalks. And this has really picked up since 21, 22, 23. Okay. There's always been fraud. There's always been people who have said, I fell on this job site and now I can never work or I can't do anything. But it has gotten to such a point now that insurers are pulling out of New York. Premiums have gone up across the board for all of us, property insurance, homeowners, because even when these accidents, doesn't matter if they're real or not, the insurance companies have to investigate them. They end up raising their premiums. They will say, we are forced to raise our premiums and we all pay for it. Forget about auto fraud. It's the same thing. You guys probably saw that viral video on the Belt Parkway. Okay. Yeah. I've got similar ones of on Nassau Expressway. Same exact thing that happened 6 months before that. It is rampant. And that's why we are all paying more in our auto insurance. New York has certain laws in place that has allowed this fraud to really just explode at this point. And so there's a lot of hope. This is what I'm investigating now, digging more into this. There's been several federal RICO lawsuits that have been filed alleging that there are law firms and doctors that are perpetuating this fraud. After one of my investigations aired, there is a law firm in the city that ended up walking away from 262 cases. Wow. They went to a judge and said, Judge, we believe that we have ethical concerns around these cases. And these were all primarily staged construction accidents. So what I'm trying to do is raise awareness about this issue, because I think it is one of the reasons we can't build more affordable housing in New York State. The governor talks a lot about that. How are you going to build affordable housing when contractors can barely afford to build massive skyscrapers where they're generating a ton of money eventually? So you now go tell that contractor, we want you to go build affordable housing. How are they going to get insurance? The insurance costs in New York are now 12.5% of the overall project cost, compared to 2.5% in New Jersey and Connecticut. How is that possible? We share borders.
You know what I just noticed in your notes, and I think this translates, our audience is all over the country, and this is a all over the country problem. Why? Because in your notes, you noted that now they're exploiting migrants and illegals because they can. And I'm talking about the lawyers and the doctors that are steering the illegals now that have flooded this country.
Yeah, so that was my question.
Everywhere.
If illegal immigration in the city has affected this.
So look, here's my opinion on that. This fraud has been going on, the staged construction accident fraud, for years.
Right.
Really, 2012 is when we start to see it. It has exploded in 2020, 21, 23. What happened in our country during that time? We have an influx of vulnerable people who, if you tell them, we're going to give you a couple $1,000s to go here and say that you fell, and then you may have to have a surgery.
Get it.
We're going to have you have a little surgery, but you're going to be okay. But they'll get tens of thousands of dollars for that surgery. They're going to do it. We have a deposition that just happened back in October. A migrant came to New York. He said this is public information. He came to New York from the border. He came to New York City. Within a few weeks of being here, he fell on a job site. He said in his deposition that he is using the loan money from his lawyer as well as his workers' comp money to pay his coyote back $21,000.
There you go.
Yeah.
We now have New York State workers' comp money being used to pay a coyote. And the migrant said it in his own words. It is a public document filed.